So welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to have a trail report on a trail ride we went on this past weekend. Had a lot of fun. We went to Choccolocco Mountain, ORV over in Alabama, just about 45 minutes from here. It's also about 45 minutes from a place in the lake, so we had a big camp out there at the lake, and then we went over to Choccolocco for a weekend. So the bad news is I didn't get hardly any footage whatsoever. I'll show what little footage I did get. Now we're back to Arsenal. That takes us back up to the main parking area.
Gotcha. Yeah, it looked familiar.
Yep. Now turn left.
Lefter.
Boy, you get that flex rocket up that hill.
Vlogging with the boys. Woo!
Yeah.
Hey!
Alright guys, that was some pretty cheesy video, I know, but dumbass me did not put the correct GoPro mounts in my Jeep. I still had the mounts for my old camera that I used to carry, and I just didn't have any way to hold the GoPro and drive at the same time, so didn't really get much footage at all. The park does have a lot of very difficult obstacles and a lot of easy obstacles, and we chose the easy route because we had a stock TJ with us, a small lifted two-door JK that was actually very capable. Of course, the Rubicon was super capable, but brand spanking new. You don't exactly want to put any damage on that. And then I had the only beater out there. So next time, I've got the mounts of the GoPro ready to go, and we should hit a lot harder stuff. And that's going to be in just a few weeks. I'm going right back out there. But that's the beauty about Choccolocco, is that anyone can go and have fun in really a stock vehicle all the way up to the most built vehicle. Which a lot of the trails are tailored to very built vehicles, but we still spent about 4 hours just trail riding and didn't even hit half of the easy trails. I did go up a few moderate trails in my Jeep, and I did get some damage, so let's take a look at that real quick. So guys, the first thing we'll have to do is relocate this exhaust. I've got to get it pushed over and up a little bit. I did flex out enough to where you can probably see how close that shock is to that exhaust. I believe, at least my theory is, the shock hit the exhaust and pushed the exhaust out of the hanger, and then of course my exhaust was just hanging and banging at that point. I talked about needing a new gas tank skid plate, and you can see I hit a couple of rocks and it just poked right through the skid plate. So this skid plate is done. I already have a new skid plate to go on it, so that'll be the next project, is putting a new skid plate up on there. You can see this fluid, that's actually rear end fluid. I must have had that rear end extremely full, and all the low range crawling must have really heated up the fluid, because it started coming out the overflow or the vent, which is right here, and it pretty well coated this side of the Jeep with gear end dope, which is really smelly. When all the chaos happened over here, it knocked this line loose. If you remember when I built this axle, I had this line located onto this spring pad, and the bolt sheared off. So this actually isn't located right there. I've just got it propped up right there. The bolt holding that sheared off, so that was hanging as well. Had a few gouges here and there where I hit things with the diff. You can't really see that one. There's a gouge up under it right there. For us, probably the most frustrating thing was I still haven't changed out my sway bar end links, and you can see how this is angled like this. This should be angled down, and so as I was flexing out the rear, these would max out and they would cause some banging. They would actually make some contact with the control arms right here. You can see how that angle is. So as I was flexing out the rear, there was some banging and bad noises going on from the rear. And so I've got those sway bar links, so I'm gonna have to change those out. The last thing that worried me the whole way is I did make this drive shaft. So I made this drive shaft about 1.5 inches too short, and I was worried about it flexing all the way out at some time, but luckily, because these are so short, it never really flexed that far. But that was a concern. So after that ride, I know for a fact I've got to change my skid plate, change these sway bar links, and then get another drive shaft that's about 1.5 inches longer. You see I dented the hell out of my exhaust. When it came down, it probably hit a rock. So I dented the hell out of the exhaust, which is fine. That's not a big deal. But other than that, the old girl did good. Even open, I still haven't put that front locker in. So there's a real good map of the park on the Venza Maps, and there's also a PDF link that I'll link down in the description if you want to take a look at that if you're thinking about going to the park. So the way we went is, as you leave the main part of the park, the parking area and the camping area, we went west and we went down what's called Arsenal, and Arsenal turns into a moderate trail, so we turned off of Arsenal before it became a moderate trail when it was still easy, and went on to Fizzle. So just follow on the map. Went on to Fizzle, went all the way down Fizzle till it dead ended. It dead ended into Scenic View and some others. I went on up Scenic View a little ways till it got to a point where I knew no one would be able to follow, and so I turned around and came back and then let everyone know that the stock TJ that was with us and the brand new Rubicon may not want to go up there for fear of body damage. But we came back around, went back to the parking area, then went all the way down, went down Forney Road. A few people hadn't ever been to the park, so Forney Road's a good kind of just basically road you can drive around. But there is some places where you have to put it in four-wheel drive, just a couple. So we went all the way down Forney Road. We went to Broadway as we're going east now. We went all the way down Broadway, all the way over to Backside 2, and then I went ahead and went by myself up Boundary. And Boundary was a pretty easy trail, even though it's labeled moderate, except for one spot where I couldn't get through without someone helping me with the winch. And I didn't have anyone with me because I was by myself. I was just test driving it for everyone else. So then I turned around and came back. By that point, we were 3.5 hours into it, and people were starting to get a little hungry. So we started heading back out. I went ahead and went up Tombstone, or actually up the other side of Broadway towards Tombstone. Went towards Playground. Then I went up Tombstone a little ways. And then at that point, I had to catch up with the group because they were probably getting close to the entrance. So I turned around and came back down. So that's all we did. That took us like 3.5, 4 hours. Of just easy cruising, stopping, having a drink, having eating a sandwich, whatever. We only touched maybe half of the easy trails and hardly none of the moderate trails. I'm going back. I'm going to hit a lot more moderate trails. I'm positive my Jeep will handle it, and I want to take some Jeeps along that will be able to go with me as I go down those trails, and we'll have some fun. But realistically, you want to start in the early morning so you can have all day. We didn't start until probably 1 o'clock. And so when it got to be 4 or 5 o'clock, it was time to go so we could all go back to the lake and eat. But the next video after this one will be the gas tank, the sway bar end links, and relocating that muffler. And then we'll probably see some Corvette content. So guys, stick around. I hope you liked the video. Hope it was informative for you, and have a great day.